Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today, we are going to continue our conversation with John Asher, CEO of Asher Strategies, and we'll talk about customer engagement. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Gerhard. Great to be back and great to talk about part two.
As we want to get closer to the buyer, buyers are pulling back. Share a little bit about what you have learned on why this decreased engagement is happening.
First of all, 60% of the buyers don't think salespeople have kept up with the new skills. An example would be being an expert on these VC platforms like Zoom. 75% of the buyers feel no need to interact with a salesperson in person ever again. 60% of the buyers now are millennials or younger, and more than half of them would prefer it if they never had another interaction with a salesperson. Buyers also now expect much better research by sellers. And you can see here almost 4 out of 5 of them really want salespeople to demonstrate great insights from thorough research. And they get very frustrated with salespeople who don't know what the buyer knows they should know. Now, about half the buyers will say, solution selling is dead. And what they want is they want the buyer to do great research so the seller can start like this, say after rapport building. Here's our understanding of your needs. Do I have this about right? And the research at Harvard shows that in 95% of the cases, this causes a big conversation between the buyer and the seller that naturally moves into the needs analysis.
Let's go to the next slide. I've seen that deck before, and I'm really impressed with the fact that 85% of sales managers want hybrid salespeople, multi-talented, which really means salespeople need to increase their range of skills, their personal skills, their selling skills, and their digital skills.
They really want salespeople to be proficient in these 8 things, various platforms, various techniques.
I think there's another role between the hybrid hunter and maybe the hybrid farmer. I think there's a role for the hybrid trapper online, where you offer digital assets and have the customer download or raise their hand so you know what they have read. And I think combined with video messages to the buyer that they can share internally, I think that would sort of round out the multi-talented hybrid hunter trapper rep.
And the other ways, when you think about a hybrid seller now, who isn't going out and meeting people in person anywhere near as much as they used to, the latest data I've seen is that they can interact with 5 times as many customers and close twice as many deals in the same time frame. What it really means, Gerhard, is in the future, you're going to see less salespeople, but the ones you're going to see will be multi-talented.
John, can you walk us through the factors that lead to sales success?
There's 5 factors interacting all together. And the first is product knowledge. When salespeople have great product knowledge, it gives them power, confidence. They have great skills and tools. They're suitable for sales based on natural talent, based on intelligence, and based on emotional intelligence. They're motivated because they got high drive, they got a great comp plan, and they have a competent sales manager. And then finally, the bottom slide, from a process standpoint, the company has great ways to hire and onboard salespeople, great ways to develop and coach them, and of course they have a strong pipeline. So when you can put a check by all 5 of these, that pretty much equals an elite salesperson. So for hiring salespeople who don't have much of this, in other words, they're not bright, they don't have a natural talent, and they have never developed emotional intelligence, they're just not going to do well. They can do okay, but they'll never be what we want. So you can see in 3 of these 5 factors, these assessments are so important. Now, to kind of sum this up pictorially, when you have salespeople, they're in the top third for natural talent and the top quartile for intelligence, that's when you see the killer salespeople.
Where would the emotional intelligence show in this? It only looks at 2 factors. I can respond fast and accurately, but if I don't do it with the right tone of voice and or the right tone of confidence, then It diminishes the impact.
The reason we stuck with this APQ for 20 plus years is it's the only assessment for salespeople that has all 5 of these following important attributes. You can use it to hire any type of salesperson. It is very predictive of job success. So big correlation studies that large companies, Salesforce, Oracle, Honeywell, etc., all merged together, where they're correlating commissions earned by salespeople with their personality type. So it's not just a psychologist's opinion. It's one of only 2 that cannot be gamed, this one and Caliber. And then it also helps salespeople develop these higher levels of EQ and has that associated assessment that I mentioned, the Agile assessment. So now let's look at EQ. Latest study from Harvard shows that for all of us, all the listeners, you and me, 67% of our success in life is directly related to achieving higher levels of emotional intelligence. The other 33% of our success is based on everything else. So there's a lot at stake with EQ.
Yeah.
And this APQ assessment shows how salespeople can develop all 4 levels of EQ. There are 4 basic personality styles in the US: the driver, communicator, supporter, and thinker. If you go back to the Harvard data, why is it that so many salespeople aren't too good? It's because they're pretty good selling to 25% of the buyers. That is, the buyers with the same personality style they are.
Right.
And they're not worth a damn selling to the other 75%. So the highest level of emotional intelligence is being able to expertly deal with, however you want to deal with them, whether it's a sale or whatever, with their personality style.
John, where can people learn more about your fantastic training?
They can come to our website, of course. They can interact with me by email or LinkedIn, AsherStrategies.com.
And that's a wrap. Thank you, John.